think this is one of the misconceptions that we have around deep values and around purpose is somehow we think that it's something that we will find outside of ourselves. It is something that is external to us. And if we can only find it, right? One day you will see the job, the perfect job, and suddenly it will click and you'll be like, yes, that's what I'm supposed to do. Welcome to the Productive Introvert Community Podcast, helping ambitious introverts who feel deep down that they can add more value to the world to really thrive in their work. I'm Mariela Franker, and I'll be sharing what I'm learning as an introverted entrepreneur, a natural productivity coach, and a mom while I build my business online and take care of my family and myself. In this podcast, you'll learn the mindset and the practical steps to naturally increase the impact of your work while making space for your unique strengths as an introvert. Hi, it's Mariela. So the past couple of weeks, I've been sharing a couple of things that have been really helpful in the first couple of years of starting this new business. And there are also things that help my clients. We talked about the business energy assessment. That is kind of like a long-term assessment over at least 6 months or so. That kind of helps you to course correct over a longer period of time. And then we also talked about kind of like the daily reflections, which is a process that helps, especially for introverts who do a lot of the work internally. We spend a lot of time thinking about things and processing thoughts and ideas. And making space for internal reflection is really, really helpful to formulate your thoughts and ideas. And the third thing that I wanted to share with you today is around celebration and connecting with your deeper values. Now, this has been a journey for me, as it is for most people. So I'm going to share a couple of things that have helped me in different stages of my business and that are still helping me to stay focused and to keep motivated, especially when things get a little bit tough. So your deeper values. I get a lot of questions about deeper values. And I completely recognize these questions. I recognize them very much. Like I used to feel like I was... The closest word that I could use to describe it was wandering. That's how I felt. Like I was wandering around looking for something, but I couldn't quite find it. And I think this is one of the misconceptions that we have around deep values and around purpose is somehow we think that it's something that we will find outside of ourselves. It is something that is external to us. And if we can only find it, right? One day you will see like the job, the perfect job, and suddenly it will click and you'll be like, yes, that's what I'm supposed to do. And you will immediately know your purpose. But I think it came from a place that deep down, I knew that I had more to offer to the world. As cheesy as that sounds, as grand as that sounds, almost sounds a bit arrogant when I say it like that. But it's like this feeling deep down in the pit of your stomach, like is this it? And I kind of remember having a sense of that throughout my life. Maybe not as a young child, I think I was okay then, kind of just exploring with art and things like that. But as I grew up and I did my studies and I started working, it just felt like it wasn't quite what I was meant to do. And I get a lot of questions about this from a lot of people. I get the sense that even though that we're more connected than ever these days, we have so many platforms to interact with people, our interactions are more fleeting. They're more light. And there aren't that many really real conversations, really deep conversations. And you may have heard this before, a lot of introverts, we don't really love small talk. Look, this isn't, of course, black and white. And it's not to say that, we never have small talk or anything like that. And we is a big word because not everyone will identify as disliking small talk. I personally have learned to engage in small talk. But I really prefer those deep, deep conversations, talking about what really matters to people. And this is kind of like, because we have less and less of that, there are very few people that we have that type of interaction with. While at the same time interacting with so many more people, it can start feeling a little bit disconnected. And for me, it was really a journey to rediscover my deeper values, and I'm still on that journey. But I can honestly say that I'm feeling that this year, 2022, which is a big year for me for a lot of different reasons, these things are kind of falling together. It's all coming together for me personally, because I've been doing the work and going on that journey to kind of rediscover myself and reconnect with myself. Now, what did this look like? What does this journey look like? So there were a lot of different techniques that I tried. I'm my first guinea pig. I always say I try everything out on myself to see what sticks. And it's not to say that it will stick for you, because what works for people, especially around productivity and especially around your deep values, because those are very unique to you, is different for everyone. But these are some of the things that I've tried and how they worked out for me. So the main thing that has really helped me to stay motivated and to start connecting with my deeper values is keeping the big goal in mind, but celebrating the small things. Now, it may not seem like this is immediately connected, but let's explore this. So when I first started, I knew I'm a solopreneur right now, right? I work by myself most of the time. I sit in this little space here, and there's just no one else really to bounce ideas of or off of and to talk things through. So I have meetings with my mentor, and I'm a part of networking groups that really help. But it's not like I have someone sitting next to me that when I'm stuck with something, I can go, hey, can you help me think this through? So going into that, I knew that I would need to find something to visualize my progress. And this is where celebrating small things comes in. We sometimes get so fixed on that ultimate goal that is so far away that it can be incredibly overwhelming to reach for it and to kind of keep reaching for it, because motivation always goes like this. It goes up and down. Some might argue that it's highest at the beginning of a project, and it kind of goes down as you progress. And by celebrating the small things, you can reignite it a little bit along the way. And I made this very visual. At the beginning, I had what I called a milestone timeline. And I just drew a line on a piece of paper. And every time I did something, I would write the date and I would write down what I did. I did that when I first started my Facebook group. Facebook group started today. It wasn't even publicized, it was just started. Made Facebook group. And then 2 days later, invited 2 people into the group. That sort of thing. Those are tiny little baby steps. But in the end, it's the accumulation of those baby steps that leads us to that big goal. So celebrating the small things, so super important. It also allows you to see your progress. And when you can see your progress, that's motivating. The reason why we often get stuck is we only look at what still needs to get done. And we rarely look back at how far we've come. I mean, if I look back from the first day that I sat in this office here and said, okay, I'm going to start this coaching business. This is what I want to do. And I compare it to now, there's a world of difference in my approach, my confidence, the way that I talk about things. Even starting this podcast back then was unimaginable. It was something that that's too big a leap. But by taking those baby steps and then looking back occasionally, seeing, oh, wow, I did that. It makes it so much easier to see your growth. And then when I look back even further, it's almost like I'm the same person, but I'm a different person. And it's just staggering to see, like, wow, yeah, there were challenges and you can overcome those challenges. So take some time to look back every once in a while at how far you've come. Don't get stuck on it, especially the things that we are less proud of. Sometimes we all make mistakes, but we learn from those mistakes. Another thing that has really, really helped is sharing with the right people. So this is a sensitive one because as you go on a new journey, as you try to do something that hasn't been done before in your immediate environment, most people are not going to immediately understand what you're trying to do. Some might even, find it odd, strange. They might even criticize you for it. It might even feel like they're trying to break you down and pull you back. And most of this is done out of love. I'm 100% sure of that. And we have those challenges too. My husband and I were both entrepreneurs, raising a young family. That's very risky. Yeah, it is in a way risky because we come from families where having a corporate job or an academic job with a monthly salary, that's very safe. That is a very stable living. And our family, they're a little bit worried because this is something they have never really seen before, There may be people in your life that out of love are trying to convince you to take a different path. And ultimately the choice is yours. For me, for us, we felt so strongly about starting these businesses. We knew, in the pit of our stomach, that this is what we were meant to do in our individual companies. And for me, that feeling of wandering that I had most of my life, it started to disappear once I started this business. And it was such a strong signal to me, yes, I've kind of found it, that sense of purpose. And coming back to that sense of purpose, and that connects to the last thing that I want to share with you around this topic that I've mostly recently been trying is when I started working with my mentor, she helped me discover my natural advantage. Now, your natural advantage, it's something that comes so natural to you that you don't even think about it. And it's very unique for everyone. It's been a few years since I've known mine, and I've kind of been practicing working with it. And recently, she has taken me through an exercise to help me connect with my natural advantage every single day. It's a very short, simple exercise where you basically just connect with the feelings you have when you're in flow. And doing this kind of connecting with my natural advantage every single day, it has completely shifted my mindset around the contribution that I make when I do my work. And this is when I really connect to my deeper values. And coming back to what we were talking about in the beginning, that feeling that I had years back, like throughout my entire life, of wandering around looking for something, searching for something that was outside of me. And now I've come to realize that those deeper values, they are inside of us. It is only by going towards our own core that we kind of discover that. And natural advantage is one way of discovering that. There are more ways. From the ways that I've tried, this has been the most powerful one, which is why I believe so much in this method, and I use it in my coaching as well. Within your natural advantage are your core values, and it captures the way that you contribute to the world. That feeling of deep down that I can add more value to the world, that's where that feeling came from for me. I couldn't capture it. And now that I'm starting to capture it, it feels, I don't even really know how to describe it. Like the words that come to mind are, it feels like coming home, but it feels even more than that. It feels like I am the home. And this sounds really like out there, right? If I had probably said something like this to myself 2 years ago, I would have been like, But there's basically, it's very difficult for me to describe it. And it makes me think that when I ask my clients to describe it for them, I'm asking quite a lot of them, but they always manage. And I really admire that so much. So just to sum up briefly, the third thing that can help to stay focused, especially when you're trying something new, something daunting perhaps, but that you feel very strongly about, it is to invite celebration and connecting with your deeper values, inviting that into your life in whatever way that you can. And some of the ways that I've tried that is by celebrating really, really tiny things every day, putting them very visually on a piece of paper that was stuck to the wall in front of my face so I could see my progress. And then the moments that it got hard, you can look back at that progress, look back at how far you've come, and feel that you are actually making that progress and that you're getting somewhere. Because it's the little steps that build up towards that big goal that you're trying to reach. Sharing with the right people. Even though there may be people in your life that really love you so much and out of love recommend things to you that are not a fit for you, it is okay to love those people and at the same time find the support that you need for this new journey with other people. And ultimately, you want to connect with your deeper values, your core. That goes beyond the motivation of, why am I doing this today? It goes deeper to kind of person that you want to be. So like I said, I get a lot of questions around this topic. And if this is something that you find yourself wondering about or that you find yourself stuck on, maybe I can help. There's a link in the description with an application form for a free exploration call with me. And we can talk about your question and see if my coaching programs would be a fit for you. Thank you. Have a great flow today. And let's talk next week. Thank you for listening to the Productive Introvert Community Podcast. If you're an introverted entrepreneur and you're ready to thrive in your own way, then connect with me on thefrankermessage.com/contact.